Hey guys, well, I just wanted to give you an update with what's been going on with House of Prayer and what's been happening the last few months with me being here. And first off, I just want to thank you guys so much for your prayerful and your financial support, and far more than just providing for me to be here. Just to know that you guys believe in what I do and that I'm not just standing here alone, but I have a team behind me, and that's really encouraging and really touches me deeply. And so I want to thank you for that. My life has been very chaotic. There's been a lot going on with me lately. There's been a huge blessing in my life. My grandma was in need of selling her second house, and my family just made it so I could buy it. And it's been a really cool season. It's been a busy season, but it's really cool. And so there's a lot happening in life. And so there's excitement. There's also a lot of busyness as I'm doing a lot of painting right now, and just gonna move in probably today or tomorrow. But on top of all that, I've just been challenged in my own personal life to give myself to more focused times of individual worship and adoration of Christ. And so just trying to expand that more in my life and giving myself to the worship of Jesus. And if that's not something that you regularly practice in your life, and shutting everything down and just putting on some worship music and just focusing on Jesus for a certain amount of time, I just encourage you to do that, because we have a vision for corporate worship, but a lot of Christians don't really have a vision of personal worship of Christ. And so I encourage you with that. So just a couple things here. A lot of you guys have been following me with my Throne Room teaching series that was released a few months ago. And I released part 1, the first 8 sessions of that teaching series. And it was really encouraging for individuals, but also just for me, just to get feedback. I mean, I can think of maybe 5 emails that people sent me just saying that they were really touched by certain messages in that series. And if you haven't checked those out, go ahead and check them out. They're all on my website. I might take them down for a season or something as I'm gearing up for part 2 that I'm going to be releasing. But check them out, because if the Throne Room isn't something that you've studied or been deeply impacted by yet in your Christian walk, I assure you, it'll deeply impact you. I mean, having the knowledge that God He's not just He's not just somewhere random. He's in His throne room, and not just where He is, but that we're actually invited there whenever we want. We have absolute liberty to enter into His throne room day in and day out. And it is so incredibly applicable. When that hits home, it changes everything. Not just your own personal relationship with Jesus in your quiet times, but it changes the way you drive. I mean, you're driving to go pick someone up, and then all of a sudden it hits you. Whoa, while I'm driving, I'm invited into God's throne room to have intimate relationship with Jesus. And so if you haven't checked that out, go back and check that out. I encourage you to stay tuned with some of these updates. I'm going to be doing a lot more of these video updates in the future, because I'm going to be releasing in about a year's time part 2 of the Throne Room series, and that's going to be 10 full sessions on His throne room in Revelation 4 and 5. And I'm going to really dive a lot more into Revelation 5 in that series, and I'm really excited for that to come about. And so stay tuned for more about that. This last week, we finished our last 24-hour prayer gathering before the summertime. And if you've been following House of Prayer at all, we've switched with COVID. We've switched our 24-hour prayer gatherings to be over Zoom, which has been a very interesting thing for me as I oversee all of our 24-hour prayer gatherings. It's interesting. It's hard scheduling and seeing the overlaps of all the different meetings of the 24-hour prayer gatherings, but it's been awesome. And Hopefully this has been our last Zoom 24-hour prayer gathering, and the rest will be in person as we see everything, all the phases unravel in regards to the reopening of everything with COVID. And so, fingers crossed. We're pretty sure it was our last one. But I just love seeing how after years, people are still having a vision for 24/7 prayer and worship. Because that's the thing. A lot of the individuals who are regular volunteers with our 24-hour prayer gatherings, I mean, they've been volunteering with us for years in regards to 24-hour prayer. And a lot of you guys watching this video are some of those people. I want to thank you for that. The last thing that's been really been a big part of the season has been our prayer room, as it's been the biggest part of every season at the House of Prayer here. You guys know the biggest thing about this ministry and my life is our prayer room. And that's our focus. Myself, Jim, and the other staff members, that's where we put all of our strength to. That's where we put all of our focus to, is building our prayer room to have a greater quality of prayer, not just quantity, but a greater quality of prayer. We don't just want to see it expand in hours, but we want to see it expand in depth and going deep as we contend for revival, as we pray for His church to explode in the city. And for all of that to take place, we're putting all of our focus into our prayer room. And like even today, we are praying a lot for the seniors in the city, and especially praying for Canada in light of all the residential schools, stuff that has been brought to the forefront of our nation, with the whole thing with that mass grave being discovered. And so we're putting our focus and our energy into the prayer room, and it's been encouraging in this time. It's been challenging, especially as we're switching from Zoom prayer meetings to in-person prayer meetings, and all the tension of everyone's different COVID perspectives and everything. But what we will continue to do with our prayer room is we will be having a Zoom function, even as we've been meeting in person. You are still able to join us over Zoom. So if you want to, you can do that. If you're having a hard time with maybe focusing in prayer by yourself, jump online. And because every day, 10 to noon, corporate prayer is happening. And so come on out to that. The last thing I just want to leave you guys with is just something that the Lord is encouraging me with lately. Like I said at the beginning of this update, there's been a lot happening. I bought my grandma's house, and it's just been a huge blessing. But one thing that's done is, with one of my uncles on that side of the family, it's caused a bit of tension. A bit of tension. That's an understatement. A lot of tension. And I don't want to go into details about that, but it's been really, this circumstance with my uncle has been really pouring into the rest of my life, and especially into my times that I'm spending with Jesus. And about a few weeks ago, I was spending some time in the Word, and I read a whole chapter. And at the end of the chapter, I said to myself, I don't think I remember anything I just read, because the whole time I was thinking about this circumstance, and how everyone, you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. And anyways, I think it was the next day, I was spending some time with Christ, and he spoke to me very clearly, and he said, Stephen, you are allowing this circumstance over here to govern and to rule over your relationship with me, rather than allowing your relationship with me to govern and to rule over the circumstances of your life. And That's something the Lord's been challenging me with, and I want to challenge you guys with as well. Don't allow your circumstances that waver throughout your life to govern your time and your relationship with Christ. But let's change our focus, guys. And let's elevate and give Christ the focus in our life. And give Him the lordship to rule and reign over the circumstances of our life.